Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to my latest video vlog. Now I'm hoping to talk a little bit today around morning anxiety. And morning anxiety, how I see that is when people who are currently suffering anxious feelings or feeling quite stressed, they might wake up with a kind of real jolt in the morning and just feel like super anxious, almost like it's really difficult to calm it down. And this is a subject I think that lots of people get really really stressed about when they're suffering with anxiety, because it's almost like it's really unexpected, it's unwaking, it's the start of the day, so it's almost like, how am I going to work through this today if I feel so anxious now? So it's quite, if it's anything, how I can remember it, when I suffered anxiety all those years ago, I was really crestfallen in the morning. It was almost like I'd wake up with sometimes a, oh my God, and I'd be so anxious and so panicked. And I was like, I'm not sure how I'm doing this. I don't know what to do. And looking back now on my personal situation, I'd almost like leap out the bed and I'd be pacing around and I'd be just thinking, how am I working through this? And I'd be trying to get in, the shower or brush my teeth, or if I could do that at all. Sometimes it was just about sort of walking around, and I'd find that over the course of the day it would relax more. And I've often wondered about it, and yes, it did calm down. In my case, it went away, and I'm pretty sure it can go away in anybody's case. And I've got some thoughts that I think I can share. And okay, so one of the really logical thoughts that I've had over the years around morning anxiety is, when you look at the brain as part of the body, the brain doesn't go to sleep particularly. It's kind of a 24/7 continuous kind of part of you that doesn't switch off, but you do. When you go to sleep, you fall into an unconscious state. So if you think about panicking or feeling anxious, what happens is, in the daytime, okay, so if I use myself as an example, so in the daytime, if I felt anxious at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I could do something to counteract that anxiety. So I could go for a walk, I could ring someone and talk to them, I could clean the house, I could do something that would ground me and would enable me to sort of do something productive that would help me to work with my anxious feelings at that time. And that would kind of it would help to keep me in the present moment, or it would help to distract me, and it would help long enough for that fearful feeling to sort of calm down a little bit. Because how anxiety comes, it comes in kind of waves. So it will go like this, okay. So for that particular wave, it would kind of help me to sort of work through that. But if you think about it, when you're sleeping, you're not able to do that. So the anxiety can build, because if you're hypervigilant in your physical body and in your emotional state, because the mind and the body is really strongly connected, then you are hypervigilant. For that amount of time, you are hypervigilant. So you might relax enough to go to sleep. You might relax enough to go to bed and to go to sleep. But essentially, you are still hypervigilant. And everything's worked up, your nervous system, anxious thinking, the stress that you're worrying about, whatever it is that you're worrying about, is all still there. So you go into a subconscious state, but your brain continues. Now, the brain is a bit like, or the sleeping process, should I say, is a bit like therapy in bed. So what that does, it's a subconscious state that helps you to process any emotions while you're sleeping. So that's kind of going on. but you're hypervigilant. So what's happening is you're going into a subconscious state, but everything else is staying hypervigilant, and you've got lots and lots of difficult feelings, coming up for you. So you sleep away, but that's still going. So you've not been able to counteract it at all. You've not been able to go for a walk. You've not been able to go do the vacuum. You've not been able to ring a friend. So you're blooming anxious. So on waking, of course, you wake up in that panicked state like that, because there's not been a possibility of working with that in a conscious state. So that, for me, is what's happening. So the other thing, a very interesting fact that I learned quite some years ago, was that in a human being, the lowest mood that they will have in a 24-hour period is the one before waking. And so if you think about it, you've got that you're hypervigilant anyway at that time in your life. And then you've also got the lowest mood that you probably would have in a 24-hour period just before waking. So combine the two together, I would imagine that you're going to wake up quite anxious. So I think in explaining all of this to you, what I'm trying to say is it's really, really normal. So if you are currently anxious, you may wake up in a real panic, or you may find that your anxious feelings or your panicked feelings are much worse as you wake up in the morning. And if I can do anything in this video vlog today, I can't, come in there, I'd love to, and just take it away from you in an instant, and neither can you for yourself. This is a process that you have to work through, but it is absolutely normal. It's not just you. It happens to most people who are anxious, if not all, at some point. It's really, really, really normal. So I don't want, anxiety sometimes can be quite isolated, and often we can feel like, this is happening to us, we're the ones that's not going to get better, and it can feel like that. But from where I'm sitting, as a previous sufferer, and as a counsellor and therapist, this is very normal, and it will die down and it will go away. So what I would say to you is there a way in which you can work with that? So a lot of the time, knowledge is power. If we understand something enough, we can build some resilience to standing back from it. So you don't have to like this, you don't have to accept this. This is a part of the process. And rather than like or accept something that's really scaring you, can you look at a way in which you can work with it? So you now understand that this is a normal part of having anxiety, and the reason for that. So is there a way that you can kind of work with this now? So it might be that you say, right, okay, so I'll share with you something that I did, which I'm very aware won't help everyone and won't work for everybody. But, at the time it kind of worked quite well for me. So what I did was I had a little mantra, which was normal living equals normal life. Now, when I say a mantra, and when I say normal, I'm going to say normal in inverted commas. So I'm kind of saying to you, what would you like your life to look like post anxiety? And if that is right, okay, so in the morning, I'd really like my normal life, so normal for me, I'd really like that to be a shower, to look out the window with a coffee, and then to go and sit down and have some breakfast. Okay, so can we work towards that? Even with this anxiety is not going to stop you. It's going to feel really uncomfortable, but it's not going to stop you. So I know the reasons why I'm hyper vigilant at the moment through the night. So I'm probably going to wake up anxious because I can't really counteract that. But what is in my control is that I can work with it. So I don't have to accept it. I don't have to like it, but I can work with it if it happens to me today. So my normal life, how I'd like that to look. So normal living equals normal life. What can I do with the normal living part? So however anxious I am, I can get up and I can have a shower. And then when I've had a shower, I can go downstairs and I can make a coffee and I can come up and look out the window. And then if I'm feeling calmer, I can then, because I'd like my normal life to incorporate breakfast at that point. So I'm not going to allow my anxiety to rush my breakfast. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to eat some breakfast. And I'm going to try and do that mindfully and slowly. And every day, no matter what, I'm going to try and do those things. Now, if you can't one day, that's fine. This is a process of learning and of processing difficult feelings. So, you know, it's not a pass or fail. It doesn't work like that. You know, but if you can say, right, okay, no matter what, I'm going to try and get in the shower. I'm going to switch the water on. I'm going to get in the morning because I'd like my morning to look like that. And that's a really good start. So what you've done is you've done a slight shift from I'm sitting in this anxiety because it feels overwhelming to I now understand why this could be happening. This is normal. So how can I work with that until it passes? And it will pass. And I think what you might find is the more you apply your normal living equals normal life, so deciding what life might look like for you as you go forward, or what you'd like it to look like, you'll start to do it with anxiety, but then as you do it, the anxiety will begin to fade, because what's happening is you're pulling yourself away, you're grounding yourself into the present moment, and you're pulling yourself away from the anxious feelings. So, you know, working with any fear is not about working without fear and then, you know, feeling convinced that it's gone. You know, there is a saying that the sort of what's the saying now? Let me think. Oh, the doing it comes before the fear goes away. So this is about working with fear to remove fear. It's not about waiting till fear's not there, or, you know, it's really important. Perhaps I'll do a vlog post on that so that I can explain it a little bit more. But as I say, if you can normalize what's happening and then work with it, even if it doesn't feel good, that will help you to process these feelings. So I hope that's helped today, and I'll be back very soon with another video vlog. Good to see you all. Thank you.